Has someone you care about exhibited subtle, yet concerning shifts in their health over the last year? Many people believe that death in old age is a sudden event, but often the body provides quiet warnings months, perhaps even a year beforehand. The challenge is that these signs are often dismissed initially as minor. Only in retrospect do families recognize the clues were present, and by then, the opportunity to adequately prepare and create lasting memories may have passed. In this video, we'll explore 5 key indicators that commonly surface within the year preceding an elderly person's passing. Some of these may be things you've observed, but attributed simply to aging, while others may seem insignificant, but actually represent the body's gradual decline. Early recognition of these signs empowers you to provide superior care, treasure precious moments, and, most importantly, ensure that your loved one's final chapter is marked by comfort, dignity, and serenity. Stay tuned until the end, as these 5 signals can help you prepare emotionally and practically for what lies ahead. With understanding, you won't be caught off guard. You'll be able to maximize the time remaining with those dearest to you. Let's begin. Number 1, notable weight loss. One of the earliest and most indicative signs that a person may be approaching their final year is unintended weight loss. At first, it might appear subtle, a belt requiring a tighter notch, clothes appearing looser, or a diminished appetite. Many families dismiss this as simply a consequence of growing older. But the reality is that losing weight without conscious effort is rarely a positive sign. It often suggests that the body is not efficiently absorbing nutrients, that muscle mass is decreasing, and that vital systems are slowing down. While aging naturally involves some muscle loss, rapid weight loss signals a deeper issue. The body may struggle to properly digest food, or the person may have difficulty processing protein, leading to muscle deterioration. This decline in strength not only makes movement more difficult, but also elevates the risk of falls, weakens the immune response, and makes the person susceptible to infections. Another contributor to weight loss in the final year of life: changes in appetite. Many elderly individuals simply don't experience hunger as they once did. Their sense of taste diminishes, food loses its appeal, and they may begin skipping meals or eating significantly smaller portions. This is more than just a change in preference. It's a physiological shift. The body, sensing its approaching shutdown, no longer signals the brain to seek food as frequently. This results in reduced energy, diminished strength, and a gradual decline in overall health. Then there's the influence of underlying medical conditions. Weight loss is a frequent symptom of chronic illnesses like cancer, heart failure, or kidney disease, all of which can begin progressing long before more obvious symptoms manifest. Even conditions such as depression or cognitive decline can lead to reduced food intake, triggering a downward spiral where the body doesn't receive sufficient fuel to sustain itself. Some families attempt to remedy the problem by encouraging their loved ones to eat more, offering favorite foods, or supplementing meals with protein shakes. However, if weight continues to decrease despite these efforts, it's crucial to recognize that the issue extends beyond just diet. It's the body preparing for a more profound transition. At this juncture, forcing large meals may not be helpful. Instead, prioritizing comfort, easily digestible foods, and hydration can significantly improve quality of life. If you observe notable weight loss in an elderly loved one, particularly if they are eating less, feeling weaker, or struggling to remain active, it's time to pay close attention. This isn't solely about physical appearance. It's about the body conveying a message. Understanding that message now can empower you to prepare for the journey ahead with clarity, compassion, and the ability to make every remaining moment count. Number 2, profound fatigue and weakness. One of the most discernible changes in the year preceding the end of life is a deep, persistent fatigue that rest doesn't alleviate. It's not simply feeling a little tired after a long day. It's an overwhelming exhaustion that makes even simple tasks feel monumental. Getting out of bed becomes a challenge. Walking across a room requires considerable effort, and activities that once felt routine like cooking, dressing, or even engaging in conversation, begin to feel too draining. This isn't merely a result of aging. It's a signal that the body is conserving its remaining energy. As organ function declines, the body prioritizes essential functions. The heart's pumping efficiency decreases, circulation weakens, and muscles don't receive the same level of oxygen they once did. This explains why many elderly individuals in their final months feel weak, unsteady, and unable to sustain the activity levels they previously enjoyed. Another important factor is the metabolic slowdown. The body is designed to produce and utilize energy, but as it prepares for its final phase, that energy is redirected. Instead of fueling movement, the body shifts toward preservation. This is why someone in decline may start sleeping more, needing longer naps during the day, and finding it harder to stay awake for extended periods. Some might even experience sudden drops in energy, appearing fine one moment but completely drained the next. Perhaps the most heartbreaking aspect of this process is the emotional impact of fatigue. Many seniors who once took pride in their independence begin feeling frustrated or even embarrassed that they can't perform tasks they used to. They may withdraw from conversations, avoid social interactions, or stop engaging in hobbies. Not because they don't care, but because they simply lack the energy. This can lead to a cycle of isolation, where they cease trying altogether, accelerating their decline. For families, witnessing a loved one transition from active and engaged to exhausted and withdrawn can be emotionally painful. It's easy to assume they're simply being lazy or that they need to push through it. But the reality is that forcing activity won't help. What matters most is understanding their limitations, allowing them to rest when needed, and making their remaining days as comfortable as possible. If you observe a loved one experiencing deep, ongoing fatigue that isn't relieved by rest, recognize it as a sign that their body is undergoing a significant transition. This is a time to cherish conversations, create moments of peace, and support them without expectations. Because, in the end, what matters most isn't how much they can do, but that they feel loved, understood, and at ease. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, increased cognitive confusion or withdrawal. As a person approaches the final stage of life, one of the most noticeable changes can be seen in their thinking, communication, and interactions with others. You might observe that someone who was once sharp and engaged starts to forget things more frequently, struggles to follow conversations, or seems disoriented in familiar places. They may repeat themselves, forget names, or lose track of time, even if they've never had memory problems before. These subtle cognitive changes can occur months or even a full year before death. This isn't just everyday forgetfulness. The brain, like any other organ, requires a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients to function properly. But as circulation weakens and oxygen supply to the brain decreases, cognitive function begins to decline. The person may become easily confused, have difficulty making decisions, or struggle to recognize people and places they've known for years. In some instances, they may even experience brief moments of lucidity, followed by sudden episodes of confusion, almost as if their mind is fading in and out. Another common sign is emotional withdrawal. Someone nearing the end of life often loses interest in social interactions. You might notice them speaking less, engaging less, or spending long periods simply sitting in silence. It's not that they don't care about their loved ones. It's that their brain no longer processes emotions and engagement in the same way. Conversations become tiring, loud environments feel overwhelming, and eventually, many seniors retreat into their own world. You may also notice changes in mood and behavior. Some individuals become more irritable, anxious, or easily frustrated. Others seem unusually calm, detached, or indifferent to things that once mattered to them. This isn't just a personality shift. It's often a result of the brain adjusting to the body's decline. As cognitive function slows, emotions become harder to express, and the person may stop reacting to situations in the way they used to. For family members, this stage can be especially difficult. Watching a loved one lose touch with reality or pull away emotionally can feel like losing them before they're actually gone. But it's important to remember this isn't something they can control. Instead of trying to bring them back into conversations, the best thing you can do is meet them where they are. Speak gently, offer reassurance, and understand that even if they don't always respond, they can still feel your presence. If a loved one is becoming more forgetful, more confused, or less engaged, don't ignore it. These are often early signs that the body and mind are preparing for the final transition. This is a time to be patient, cherish quiet moments, and focus on creating an environment that feels safe, familiar, and peaceful. Because even when words fade, love and comfort can still be felt. Let's move on. Number 4, frequent infections and slow healing. As the body begins to wind down, one of the clearest physical signs is a weakened immune system. You might notice that. Someone who rarely got sick before now seems to catch every cold, every flu, every small infection that goes around. What used to be minor illnesses now take much longer to recover from. And simple wounds, like a small cut or bruise, heal at a noticeably slower rate. These changes aren't random. They're signs that the body is no longer able to defend or repair itself the way it once did. One of the biggest concerns is repeated infections. Pneumonia, urinary tract infections, UTIs, skin infections, and even oral infections become more common. As the immune system weakens, many families assume these are just isolated illnesses, but when they start happening frequently or take a long time to clear up, it's often a sign that the body is losing its ability to fight back. Even antibiotics, which once worked quickly, may seem less effective. The person may need stronger medications, longer recovery periods, or multiple rounds of treatment for infections that once would have been minor. This happens because as circulation slows and organ function declines, the body simply doesn't respond to treatment as well. Another overlooked issue is chronic wounds. If you notice that small scratches, sores, or bruises aren't healing properly or keep reopening, it could mean that circulation is compromised. Poor blood flow means that oxygen and nutrients aren't reaching the skin and tissues efficiently, making healing much slower than usual. Pressure sores, especially for those who are less mobile, become a serious risk and can lead to dangerous infections if not carefully managed. What's even more concerning is that infections in the final year of life often don't look the way we expect. Instead of a high fever, an elderly person may simply seem more tired than usual, more confused, or less interested in eating. In fact, for seniors, a sudden decline in mental alertness is often the first warning sign of an infection, even before other symptoms appear. This is why recognizing these changes early can make a difference in how much comfort and support they receive in their final stage of life. For families, watching a loved one go through repeated infections can be frustrating and heartbreaking. It's tempting to push for aggressive treatments, hoping that one more round of antibiotics or one more hospital stay will fix the problem. But at a certain point, the focus often shifts from curing to comforting, making sure they stay hydrated, keeping their skin clean and moisturized, and minimizing stress on the body can do more for their well-being than another round of medication that only prolongs suffering. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5, significant changes in breathing or circulation. One of the most telling signs that the body is preparing for its final stage is a noticeable change in breathing patterns and circulation. You may notice that your loved one breathes more slowly or shallowly than before. At times, they might pause between breaths, or their breathing might become irregular, speeding up and then slowing down unexpectedly. Some people experience a gentle, rhythmic breathing pattern called Cheyne-Stokes respiration, where breathing alternates between deep, rapid breaths and long pauses. These changes can start subtly, but over time, they become more pronounced and more frequent. Another common sign is weakened circulation. You may notice that their hands, feet, or even their nose and ears start feeling cold to the touch. The skin may appear pale, bluish, or mottled, especially around the fingers and toes. This happens because the body is prioritizing blood flow to vital organs, reducing circulation to the extremities. It's a clear indication that the heart is not pumping as strongly as before. Some people also experience more shortness of breath, even with minimal movement. Simply sitting up, speaking, or shifting positions might cause them to feel winded or out of breath. You may notice them breathing through their mouth more often, or they may suddenly need to stop and catch their breath while talking. If they were once able to walk across the room easily, but now struggle to do so, their lung function in these final months or weeks, the most important thing you can give them isn't medical intervention. It's comfort, dignity, and the knowledge that they are not alone. Final thoughts. As we come to the end of this video, take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. Significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive decline, frequent infections, and major changes in breathing and circulation. These 5 signs often appear in the year leading up to an elderly person's passing. They may not all happen at once, and they may not always be obvious at first, but when you start noticing them, it's a sign that the body is preparing for its final transition. For many families, these changes can be difficult to accept. It's natural to want to fight against them, to encourage a loved one to eat more, move more, or push through exhaustion. But sometimes, the best thing we can do is listen to what their body is telling us. Instead of focusing on trying to reverse the inevitable, we can focus on making their remaining time as peaceful, comfortable, and meaningful as possible. Understanding these signs isn't about fearing death. It's about being prepared for it. When you recognize these changes early, you can offer better care, make important decisions ahead of time, and ensure that your loved one's final months are filled with love and dignity. This is a time for cherishing moments, sharing stories, and letting them know they are valued and not alone. If you're noticing these signs in someone close to you, take a deep breath and remember you're not alone in this journey. Many families have walked this path before, and while it's never easy, knowing what to expect can help you find strength, patience, and peace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.